My friends, the greatest journey we ever take is not across mountains or oceans, but within ourselves, the journey from doubt to belief. So many of us spend years searching for validation from others, waiting for someone to tell us that we are capable, that we are worthy, that we are enough. But the truth is, no one can give you belief. It is something you must plant, nurture, and grow within. Belief is like a seed, invisible at first, but when watered with effort, faith, and persistence, it grows into an unshakable tree. Yet, what most of us do is dig it up every day to check if it's growing. We question ourselves too soon, too often. Am I good enough? Will I ever make it? And in doing so, we destroy the very seed we planted. When you stop doubting and start doing, something magical happens. The universe begins to respond. Opportunities open, strength appears, and paths reveal themselves where there were only walls before. But remember, self-belief is not arrogance. It's quiet confidence, the calm knowing that I can handle this, even if you've never handled it before. When storms of failure come, when people criticize or misunderstand you, belief becomes your anchor. It keeps you rooted when everything else tries to shake you. And the most beautiful part, the moment you start believing in yourself, others start believing in you too. Because belief is contagious, it spreads energy, it inspires hope, and it lights up every room you walk into. So stop seeking approval from outside. You are not defined by your past mistakes, your insecurities, or your fears. You are defined by how you rise, how you fight back, and how you continue to believe even when it's hard. Because self-belief is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. Wake up each morning and remind yourself, I am capable, I am strong, and I am becoming better every day. Manifesting self-belief isn't about becoming someone new. It's about realizing who you already are. And when you do that, life doesn't just change, it transforms. Self-belief is not something you can borrow from others, nor is it something that suddenly appears when life becomes easy. It is something that is built quietly within, through moments of struggle, reflection, and courage. Often, people look for belief outside themselves, in words of encouragement, in success, in praise, or in recognition. But the truth is, none of those can last if the foundation within is weak. When you rely only on external validation, your confidence rises and falls based on others' opinions. But when belief is rooted inside, no storm can shake it. Think about a tree. Before its branches reach high into the sky, its roots grow deep underground, unseen, silent, but strong. That's how self-belief works. The world may not see your growth, your preparation, or your quiet battles. But beneath the surface, your belief is taking root. Every challenge you overcome, every time you push through fear, every time you rise after failure, you strengthen those roots. And when the winds of life come, you may sway, but you will not fall. The journey of believing in yourself often begins in moments of uncertainty. When life puts you in a place where you have no choice but to trust yourself. That's when you discover your real strength. You realize that the power you were searching for outside was always inside you. Belief is not built by knowing everything or being perfect. It is built by acting even when you don't have all the answers. There will be times when you look around and feel like others are more talented, more confident, or more successful. In those moments, remember that comparison is the thief of belief. The more you compare, the more you forget your own uniqueness. Each person's path is different. No two stories are the same. When you start embracing your own journey, instead of imitating someone else's, your self-belief grows naturally. Many people wait for the right moment to start believing in themselves. After they achieve something big, after they prove something to others, after they feel ready. But self-belief is not a reward. It's the fuel. You don't get it after success. You need it before success. Without it, you won't even take the first step. And even if you do, you'll give up the moment things get hard. Belief is what keeps you walking when the path is unclear and the destination seems far. Sometimes, self-belief begins as a whisper, a small voice that says, maybe I can. Listen to it, protect it, feed it. But that whisper will grow louder, stronger, until it becomes an unshakable conviction. People may doubt you. Circumstances may challenge you. But if you keep that inner flame alive, nothing outside can extinguish it. True belief doesn't mean you never feel afraid or uncertain. It means you choose to keep going despite those feelings. It's waking up every morning and deciding, I may not have it all figured out, but I trust myself to handle whatever comes my way. That quiet decision, repeated day after day, is what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary ones. So, belief begins within, not in achievements, not in praise, not in validation, but in the simple yet powerful realization that you are capable, strong, and enough. Once you truly believe that, everything around you starts to change because the world reflects the strength that you carry inside. One of the biggest obstacles to self-belief is our constant need for validation. From childhood, we are conditioned to seek approval from parents, teachers, friends, and later, from society. We learn to measure our worth by how others see us. A compliment makes us feel valuable, while criticism makes us question ourselves. But true confidence cannot grow in such fragile soil. The moment your happiness and worth depend on external approval, you give away control over your peace. Validation from others can feel good, like sunlight warming your skin. But just as the sun sets, that warmth fades quickly. Relying on others' opinions is like chasing temporary sunlight instead of building your own inner fire. The truth is, no matter how hard you try, you will never please everyone. Some will misunderstand you, others will judge you, and many won't see the effort behind your actions. If your belief depends on their recognition, your confidence will rise and fall like a wave in a restless sea. Real growth begins when you no longer need applause to feel worthy. It doesn't mean you become arrogant or stop caring about people. It means you stop allowing their opinions to define your identity. When someone praises you, be grateful. When someone criticizes you, learn from it if it's helpful. But never let it control your sense of who you are. The more you depend on approval, the more you become a prisoner of it. Freedom begins when you can stand tall, even in silence, knowing your worth without needing a round of applause. Many people post, speak, or act not because they truly want to, but because they hope someone will notice. They spend their energy crafting an image for others instead of living with authenticity. But the tragedy of seeking validation is that it never ends. Once you start, you constantly need more. You become addicted to being liked, afraid to make mistakes, scared to disappoint others. Slowly, you lose your true voice trying to fit into everyone else's expectations. The most powerful people are not those who never face criticism. They are the ones who have learned not to be defined by it. They understand that external validation is momentary, but self-validation is eternal. It's about saying to yourself, I am proud of my effort, even if no one sees it. I am proud of my journey, even if it's not perfect. That's where real peace begins. When you stop chasing validation, you gain back your focus. You no longer waste energy wondering what others think. You channel that energy into becoming better, not for the world's approval, but for your own growth. You start making decisions that align with your values, not the crowd's expectations. You speak truthfully, act authentically, and live freely. Of course, it's not easy to stop caring about others' opinions overnight. It takes awareness, practice, and courage. But every time you choose authenticity over approval, you strengthen your inner confidence. Every time you act from your truth, rather than fear of judgment, you reclaim a piece of your power. Over time, this becomes a habit, a quiet inner assurance that you don't need to prove your worth. You only need to live it. So stop seeking validation from a world that often doesn't even understand your journey. You don't need anyone to tell you you're enough. You already are. The moment you stop needing permission to be yourself, you begin to manifest true self-belief, the kind that no opinion can shake and no criticism can destroy. Doubt is one of the most silent yet powerful forces that holds us back from reaching our potential. It sneaks into our thoughts, whispering that we're not good enough, not ready enough, or not capable enough. It disguises itself as caution or humility, but in truth, it's fear wearing a polite mask. When you allow doubt to dominate your mind, it builds invisible walls around your dreams. It convinces you that failure is inevitable, and slowly, it robs you of the courage to even try. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when we take bold steps forward despite uncertainty. But doubt freezes us in hesitation. It makes us question every decision and guess every idea. The tragedy is, many people never discover their greatness because they let doubt talk them out of trying. They wait for the right time, the perfect skill, or the certain path. But that perfect moment never arrives. Growth is not waiting for doubt to disappear. It's learning to move forward even when doubt is loud. Every great achiever you've ever heard of, artists, leaders, inventors, thinkers, they all battled doubt. The difference is they didn't surrender to it. They acted despite it. They believed that clarity would come through action, not before it. You can't think your way into confidence. You have to act your way into it. Each small step you take toward your goal weakens the grip of doubt. Every time you choose effort over fear, your belief grows stronger and your hesitation grows smaller. Doubt is also strengthened by comparison. When you look at others and think, they are more talented than me, or they have it easier, you fuel your own insecurity. But what you don't see are their struggles, rejections, and fears, because everyone has them. The key difference lies in persistence. While doubt tells you to stop, growth whispers, keep going. The only way to silence doubt is through consistent action. Another dangerous thing about doubt is how it disguises itself as logic. It will give you 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't start: lack of time, lack of money, lack of experience. But deep down, these are not truths. They are excuses born from fear of failure. Growth requires you to look doubt in the eye and say, even if I fail, I will learn. Because every failure teaches you something that doubt never will. When you stop doubting your worth, you open doors to new possibilities. You stop holding yourself back and begin to see that your potential is far greater than your fear. The moment you start trusting yourself, truly trusting, you stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I succeed? That shift in mindset changes everything. Doubt might always exist in small ways. It's part of being human. But it doesn't have to control you. Think of it as a shadow. It's there, but it cannot stop you from walking forward unless you give it your attention. The light of belief, once lit, will always overpower it. So, the next time doubt tells you that you can't, remember this: doubt destroys more dreams than failure ever will. Failure teaches, doubt paralyzes. Growth demands courage, not the absence of fear, but the will to move forward in spite of it. Every time you choose faith over fear, belief over hesitation, you take another step toward your best self. And with each step, doubt loses its power. While you discover the strength that was within you all along, self-belief doesn't grow from thinking, wishing, or waiting. It grows through action. Every small step you take toward your goals becomes a brick in the foundation of your confidence. The mistake many people make is waiting to feel ready before they begin. They tell themselves, once I'm confident, I'll act, not realizing that confidence comes after action, not before it. You cannot build belief by standing still. You build it by doing, by trying, by showing up, even when fear whispers you're not enough. Action is the language through which belief speaks. When you act, you prove to yourself that your fears are not in control. Every attempt, whether successful or not, tells your mind, I am capable. The first time you try something new, doubt might be loud. But the more you repeat that action, the quieter doubt becomes. It's like learning to swim. At first, you're afraid of sinking. But once you step into the water and start moving, your body learns to float. Likewise, belief is learned through movement, through experience. People often think they need motivation to take action. But in reality, action creates motivation. When you start doing something, your brain sees progress, even if it's small, and that progress fuels you to keep going. If you wait for perfect motivation before acting, you'll be waiting forever. The secret is to begin, however imperfectly, however uncertainly. Because momentum builds belief, and belief builds results. Every great success story begins with a small act of courage. Think about it. No one starts with unshakable confidence. Behind every strong person you admire is a version of them that once doubted themselves, but acted anyway. They failed, they fell, they learned, and in that process, their belief became stronger than their fear. Every failure became proof that they were capable of trying again. And that's how growth happens, not through perfection, but through persistence. Action also breaks the illusion of limitation. We often overestimate the size of our fears because we keep them in our minds. The moment we act, we realize most obstacles aren't as big as we imagined. Taking action brings clarity. What seemed impossible in thought becomes manageable in reality. For example, if you're afraid of speaking in public, the first speech may terrify you. But once you do it, even imperfectly, you realize it didn't destroy you. That realization fuels confidence, and the next time becomes easier. One of the most powerful things about action is that it builds evidence. Your mind needs proof to believe in your potential. Every completed task, every small victory, every risk taken becomes evidence that you can. Over time, this evidence piles up and transforms into belief. You no longer need to convince yourself. You've shown yourself. You've built a track record of courage. Taking action also silences the inner critic. When you're busy doing, there's no space for endless overthinking. Action focuses your energy on creation rather than criticism. It transforms anxiety into momentum. And even if things don't go perfectly, you gain something far more valuable than success: experience. You learn what works, what doesn't, and what you're truly capable of. In life, you don't have to see the entire path to start walking. You just need to take the first step. Each step you take is a message to yourself. I believe in me. The beauty of action is that it doesn't demand perfection, only willingness. Willingness to begin, to try, to keep moving. And with each move forward, belief strengthens quietly, like a muscle exercise daily. Over time, it becomes unbreakable, because it's built not on words or wishes, but on the solid ground of experience. Failure is one of life's greatest teachers, Yet so many people treat it as a final judgment. They wear their failures like heavy labels. Oh, not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. But failure was never meant to define you. It was meant to refine you. Every setback carries within it a seed of wisdom that success can never teach. The problem is, most of us are so focused on the pain of falling that we miss the lesson waiting underneath it. When you fail, it's easy to feel disappointed, embarrassed, or discouraged. You might even start questioning your abilities or purpose. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. Every great inventor, artist, athlete, or thinker has a long trail of failures behind their achievements. The reason they succeeded is not because they avoided falling, but because they refused to stay down, and they used each failure as feedback, as a compass pointing them closer to what works. Think of a baby learning to walk. The baby falls countless times before taking the first steady step. Yet no one calls the baby a failure. Why? Because falling is expected. It's part of learning. The same is true in life. Growth requires falling, making mistakes, getting up, and adjusting your direction. The only true failure is refusing to get up again. Every time you rise after falling, you grow stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what comes next. Failure also builds resilience, the strength to continue even when things don't go your way. It teaches humility, patience, and perseverance. It reminds you that success is not about speed, but endurance. Many people give up right before their breakthrough because they interpret failure as a dead end instead of a detour. The truth is, every great success story has a chapter of struggle, rejection, and pain. Without those chapters, the story would lack depth and meaning. The beauty of failure is that it strips away illusion. It shows you what doesn't work, forcing you to look deeper within. It reveals your weaknesses, but also your hidden strengths. When you face failure with openness, you start to see it not as punishment, but as preparation. You begin to realize that failure is life's way of saying, there's a better way, keep going. Sometimes, failure isn't about the goal itself, but about shaping the person you become while pursuing it. It develops qualities like determination, courage, and empathy, qualities that success alone cannot create. When you've fallen and gotten back up, you understand others' struggles better. You become kinder, more grounded, more real. That's why failure is never wasted if it makes you wiser. The danger lies in letting failure become your identity. One bad decision, one mistake, one rejection, none of these define your worth. They are events, not who you are. Yet, many people let a single failure become the story of their life. They stop trying, stop dreaming, and settle for less. But the truth is, failure doesn't break you. Giving up does. If you learn from it, adapt, and keep going, that same failure becomes the reason you eventually succeed. So, every time you stumble, remind yourself, this is not the end. It's just a step. Each mistake brings clarity. Each setback strengthens your foundation. Each disappointment removes what doesn't belong in your path. Failure is not a label you wear, it's a lesson you grow through. And when you begin to see it that way, every fall becomes a stepping stone leading you closer to the version of yourself that refuses to quit, the version destined to rise. There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. A line that the people are inspired by you, or turned people are inspired, turned by you, or pinned away from you. True confidence is quiet, grounded, and humble. It comes from self-awareness and self-belief. Arrogance, on the other hand, is loud and fragile. It's rooted in insecurity and the need to prove something. When you are truly confident, you don't have to announce it. Your actions, your calmness, and your presence speak for you. Confidence is built from within. It's that deep inner assurance that says, I can handle whatever comes my way. It doesn't mean you know everything or that you'll never make mistakes. It simply means you trust yourself to learn, to adapt, and to rise again if you fall. Arrogance, however, pretends to know everything. It fears mistakes because mistakes expose weakness. A confident person embraces learning, an arrogant person resists it. In life, you'll meet both types of people. The confident ones lift others, encourage growth, and share their light without fear of being overshadowed. The arrogant ones compete unnecessarily, belittle others, and crave recognition. The reason is simple. Arrogance thrives on comparison, while confidence thrives on self-acceptance. When you are confident, you no longer need to prove your worth to anyone. You know who you are and what you stand for. Confidence allows you to walk into a room without feeling the need to dominate it. You don't speak to impress, you speak to express. You don't seek attention, you offer value. You don't focus on being better than others, you focus on being better than who you were yesterday. This is the essence of authentic self-belief, growing silently, humbly, and consistently without the pressure to display it. Many people confuse arrogance with strength, but the truth is, arrogance is weakness in disguise. It's a wall built to protect a fragile ego. Confident people don't need to build walls, they build bridges. They understand that every person has something valuable to teach. They know that real power is not about control, but connection. When you're secure in yourself, you can appreciate others' strengths without feeling threatened by them. Confidence also makes you more compassionate. When you truly believe in yourself, you don't feel the need to tear others down. You can celebrate their victories because you know their success doesn't diminish yours. You realize that everyone is on their own journey, and comparison only distracts you from your own progress. Arrogance isolates, but confidence connects. One of the best signs of confidence is the ability to admit when you're wrong. It takes strength to say, I made a mistake, because that admission doesn't shake your self-worth. Arrogance, however, cannot tolerate being wrong. It defends mistakes, blames others, and hides behind excuses. Confidence accepts responsibility, learns, and grows. Confidence also carries a calm energy. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to constantly prove yourself. You know your value, and that quiet knowing becomes your power. People are drawn to that kind of strength, the kind that doesn't demand attention but naturally commands respect. The more confident you become, the more you realize that life is not about being perfect or superior. It's about being authentic. You stop living for validation and start living with purpose. Arrogance says, I am the best. Confidence says, I am doing my best. One seeks to impress the world, the other seeks to improve the self. And in the long run, it's the quiet confidence, not the loud arrogance, that leaves a lasting impact because it's built on truth, humility, and genuine self-belief. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable. Just when everything seems to be falling into place, a storm arrives, sometimes without warning. Challenges, losses, rejections, and failures test not only your patience, but also your belief in yourself. It's easy to stay positive when the sun is shining. Indeed, real strength is revealed when the clouds turn dark. In those moments, the only thing that can keep you standing is your inner belief, the quiet conviction that no matter how fierce the storm gets, you will not be swept away. When difficulties strike, the natural reaction is to panic, complain, or lose hope. But what if, instead of fighting the storm, you chose to anchor yourself within it? A tree survives strong winds not because the winds are gentle, but because its roots are deep. The deeper the roots, the stronger the tree. In the same way, when your belief is deeply rooted, not in circumstances, but in your inner strength, no external force can uproot you. The winds may bend you, but they cannot break you. Being rooted means being stable in uncertainty. It's knowing that change and chaos are part of life's rhythm. Sometimes, you can't control what happens around you, but you can always control what happens within you. The more you practice inner stillness, the less the outside world can shake you. The people who survive and grow through life's storms are not the ones who never face problems, but the ones who learn to stand tall despite them. When storms hit, doubt often follows. You may start questioning your path, your purpose, or even your worth. You may think, maybe I'm not strong enough, or maybe I'm not meant for this. But that's exactly when belief must rise the highest. Remember, a storm doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to strengthen you. It removes the weak branches, clears what no longer serves you, and reveals what's truly strong within. Without the storm, you wouldn't know the power of your roots. There will be people who misunderstand you, situations that seem unfair, and moments when nothing goes as planned. It's in those moments that your faith in yourself is tested. Do you still trust your path when it doesn't look the way you imagined? Do you still believe in your potential when life tells you to give up? Staying rooted means saying yes. Yes, I will keep going even when I can't see the result. Yes, I will trust myself even when the world doesn't. Silence also becomes powerful in such times. Instead of reacting in anger or frustration, take a step back, breathe, and reflect. The storm outside may be loud, but you can always find calm inside. That calmness is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the understanding that no storm lasts forever. Every storm eventually passes, and when it does, you'll find yourself stronger, wiser, and more grounded than before. In moments of pain or uncertainty, remind yourself of what you've already survived. You've faced storms before, and you made it through. Every challenge you've overcome is proof that you're capable of handling more. Use those memories as your anchor. Tell yourself, I've been here before and I'll rise again. Being rooted during life's storms doesn't mean you don't feel fear or sadness. It means you don't let those feelings control your direction. You bend, but you don't break. You endure, but you don't lose faith. And when the winds finally settle, you'll realize the storm didn't weaken you. It revealed how strong you truly are. There is something deeply powerful about a person who truly believes in themselves. You can feel it in their presence, the calm assurance in their words, the steady confidence in their actions, and the quiet glow that surrounds them. They don't have to boast or convince anyone of their worth. Their energy speaks louder than any words could. And what's most beautiful about such belief is that it doesn't stop with the individual, it spreads. It has the power to awaken belief in others, like one candle lighting another without losing its own flame. When you live with self-belief, you become a source of inspiration for those around you. People begin to notice the way you handle challenges, how you stay calm when things fall apart, and how you continue moving forward, even when the odds are against you. They see in you something they wish to discover in themselves: courage. Your quiet determination becomes their motivation. Your journey becomes a living example that strength doesn't come from having everything figured out, but from trusting yourself in uncertainty. Belief is contagious. When you believe in your vision, others start believing in it too. It's not about convincing people with grand speeches or dramatic gestures. It's about showing consistency, authenticity, and integrity in your actions. When you keep showing up, even when it's difficult, you silently tell others, if I can, you can too. That's how movements begin, how leaders inspire, and how change truly happens, not through words alone, but through unwavering belief in purpose. Think about the people who have inspired you the most. They weren't perfect. They had doubts, failures, and fears like everyone else. What made them special was their refusal to let those fears define them. Their courage to keep believing became a mirror in which others saw their own potential. True inspiration doesn't come from perfection, it comes from perseverance. When you walk your path with faith, you give permission to others to start walking theirs. Belief also creates a ripple effect of positivity. When you choose to believe in yourself, you naturally begin to believe in others too. You start seeing potential where others see limitations. You begin to lift people up instead of judging them. Your presence becomes a safe space where others feel encouraged to express their dreams, take risks, and grow. You may not even realize it, but your confidence can become the reason someone doesn't give up on themselves. Many times, people don't lack talent, they lack belief. And sometimes, all it takes is seeing one person who dares to believe for them to ignite that spark within themselves. Your story, your resilience, your belief can become the turning point in someone else's life. It's like planting a seed in their heart, a seed that says, you are capable too. Over time, that seed grows into their own self-belief, and they, in turn, inspire others. This is the beauty of authentic belief. It multiplies. It doesn't create competition. It creates community. It doesn't demand followers. It inspires leaders. When your actions come from genuine belief, people are drawn to your energy, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. They see your faith in yourself and begin to build their own. The world needs more people who believe, not just in dreams, but in themselves. Because when one person stands tall in faith, others find the courage to rise too. And soon, what began as a single spark of belief becomes a fire that lights up countless others, turning doubt into determination and fear into hope.